Hi, I'm Brooks Kenny, and welcome to another episode of Be Brain Powerful Live. Before we get started, I just want to acknowledge the turmoil that we are all experiencing in our country right now. And I want to share with you that Us Against Alzheimer's stands with those across the country who are demanding racial justice. And I invite you to read our statement from our chairman and founder, George Vredenberg, on our website at usagainstalzheimers.org. Tonight's episode of Be Brain Powerful Live is focused on meditation. If you're new to this series, let me tell you a little bit about it. We launched our Be Brain Powerful campaign with former First Lady Laura Bush and a number of partners, including AARP, Joy of Mom, Curves, and Women's Day magazine. The aim of the campaign is to educate people all over the country about what they can do to take care of their brains. Ultimately, we want people to see their brain as a vital organ. We want people to recognize that what they do for their overall health and wellness can really impact their brain health. We want people to start talking about their brains. We want you to raise this topic with your families and your friends. We want you to raise the topic with your provider when you have a concern. And so that's why we launched Be Brain Powerful Live, to bring you once a week a little segment of a brain health tip, a brain health topic. We've focused on nutrition, we've focused on exercise, and tonight we are focused on meditation. And I couldn't be more excited to have Maddy Dychtwald with us. Hi, Maddy. It's great to see you.
Hi, Brooks. Thank you for having me. This is such a pleasure.
Well, it's an honor for us. Maddy, let me just introduce you to I'm sure people watching are well aware, but I think I want to give everybody a snapshot of all that you have done. Maddy is the co-founder of AgeWave, and she was recently recognized by Forbes magazine as one of the top 50 female futurists worldwide. She's been studying the age wave and looking at all aspects of it in the how it transforms our marketplace, the workplace, our world, our lives for more than 30 years. She is a women's health advocate. She is a brain health influencer. And we are so grateful to call you one of our co-founders of our women's network here at Us Against Alzheimer's. So we're thrilled to have you with us today.
So thank you so much. I'm so proud to be part of the Women Against Alzheimer's movement, if I could even say that it's a movement.
Absolutely.
And, proud to be one of the co-founders.
Great. Yeah, no, I mean, you remember back when we started the organization,
I do.
It was the late Trish Vredenberg and George Vredenberg, along with many others, who said, we need to focus on communities that are disproportionately impacted by Alzheimer's disease. And so they formed the Women's Network. They formed a network focusing on African Americans, a network focused on Latinos, really recognizing that there are communities that are very, very much impacted by this disease, and the ways in which we provide intervention, education, advocacy are different. And so it's really exciting. It's been so many years. It's exciting to be able to talk to you today about your focus on your own brain health and what you're doing to kind of keep your brain healthy. So thanks for being here.
Oh.
We know that meditation protects against cognitive decline. There are many pillars of brain health, and reducing stress is one of them. And so what we're going to talk about tonight, we're just going to have a little chat about your practice. I'd love for you to share the benefits that you've felt personally. And then I know you've got some tips for our listeners, because I'll be honest, I think when people start talking about ramping up a meditation practice or thinking about ways for them to be mindful, it can be overwhelming.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember when I started thinking about it for myself, I thought, I don't know if I could do this every day. It felt like too big. And I think it's an opportunity to debunk some of those myths. So maybe a place to start, if you could share about your practice and why you got started.
Well, first let me say that my interest in aging and longevity and brain health is both personal and professional. I mean, I've been working in the field of aging. I've been aging as the field of aging has evolved. I started in my 30s, so you do the math. It's been quite a while. And it started for me looking at a trend the population getting older and living longer. And now I'm getting the experience of what it feels like and what it is like. And before I had the experience, I got to watch my grandmother and my mother go through the experience. And, frankly, they didn't do so great with it for a
Okay.
variety of reasons. But one of the primary reasons was their cognitive health. I mean, it's hard to talk about, but my grandmother struggled with depression her whole life and then ended up with what was diagnosed as Alzheimer's disease. And my mom didn't pay attention to how it might impact her, didn't connect the dots that there was a genetic link. And she ultimately ended up with a form of cognitive decline. It was never diagnosed specifically as Alzheimer's, but it was likely Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And watching her go down that rabbit hole was one of the most difficult things in my life. And words don't even begin to express what that was like. And frankly, being a professional in the field of aging, I knew the genetic link, and I
Right.
was scared to death and did research, both traditional medicine, non-traditional, everything I could find out to make changes in my life so that I could either prevent or delay the onset of cognitive decline. And here I am, 70,
No,
and
you aren't.
I am, and still I'm cognitively I'm doing great. So I think
Amazing.
meditation has been a part of that, a big and important part of that.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your personal story. I'm always so inspired by stories like yours, and continue to be surprised by how many of them we hear, right? I mean, when we go around the country and talk to other women, story after story, it typically is around diagnosis, misdiagnosis, diagnosis late. And this is a big reason why we created our brain health initiative and our Be Brain Powerful campaign, because we want to imagine a world where women are normalizing this conversation in the same way that we did with heart disease, right? I mean, 20
Yes,
years ago, we
absolutely.
weren't talking about heart disease in women. The symptoms are different, the risk factors are different. Now everyone's wearing red dresses in, February, and it's a topic. Well, we need to do that for our brains. And we really believe that talking about our brain health is an empowering way to kind of enter that conversation. So as a fellow advocate, I really appreciate all you've done for the field, and that you've taken your personal story in order to create momentum and move us forward. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and we can't forget that women are much more likely to get Alzheimer's disease than men. So we need to take more action. And the good news is that women are more likely to take action than men. So let's do it in
Let's
every
do
way
it.
we can.
I mean, we're the change makers of our time, right? And we're usually the chief
Absolutely.
medical officers of our family. So we got to take that and harness it and link arms with one another to move things forward. So we're really so fortunate to have you in the fight. So let's pivot to meditation specifically. I'd love to hear about your practice and why you got started.
Okay, I'd be happy to share it. First, let me say to everyone out there, I am not a meditation expert by any stretch of the imagination. This is more just sharing my experience. And to use the word practice, that is such a big word. I mean, it's a scary word. I meditate, and I do it as often as I can. And I do transcendental meditation. And the reason I do transcendental meditation, and there are lots of forms of meditation, but I chose TM because they had YouTube videos online that demonstrated the scientific evidence that, yes, this makes a difference. And they had Harvard and Princeton and Stanford physicians coming out on their YouTube channel saying that it made a difference, and showing the scientific evidence, and showing us the American Medical Association reports and the Lancet reports. So how the brain, the gray matter in the brain changes, and how connections in different parts of the brain begin to improve. So that was good for me. And so I signed up. But there are lots of different kinds of meditation. Any kind of mindfulness or meditation, I think, is really great. So I'll begin by saying that.
Great. And why don't you tell our viewers a little bit more about Transcendental Meditation? Because it involves a specific mantra, right?
Yes, it does. So the whole idea of TM, or Transcendental Meditation, is that it's really easy. That's what I like the most about it.
I like that because I'm intimidated by it. So that's good.
And there's no shame or judgment involved when doing it. The whole concept is to do it twice a day for 20 minutes each time. And honestly, I don't do it for 20 minutes all the time because I don't have, well, I think I don't have the time. I probably do, but somewhere in my brain, I'm like, I'm too busy to do it for 20 minutes at a time. But I do it for at least 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at the end of the day. And I find that it balances me out, it centers me, and it makes me get ready for my day, and also cleans my brain out at the end of the day. So here's how it goes. So you find a comfortable place to sit. It doesn't have to be with candles in the back. It doesn't need pillows. In fact, for TM, they suggest that you sit in a chair. So anyone can sit in a chair.
Yeah.
So you start there, you close your eyes, and then they give you a mantra that's given to you in advance. And it's supposedly an individual mantra. I don't know, because you're not supposed to divulge your mantra, and I never have. So I don't know if other people have the same ones. It could be that everyone has the same one. I don't know. But
we won't ask you your mantra on live.
You can come up with your own mantra. I mean, it's several, 1, 2, or 3 syllables from what I understand. And what you do is you close your eyes, and the good news is they say just normal breathing. Now, I personally like deep breathing. It again helps center me, so I involve some deep breathing in it, but you don't have to. So, but you do need to close your eyes, and then you say the mantra to yourself over and over again. And what you see happening is the activity of your brain. You see your thoughts like, oh my God, I have to go to this, and I have a meeting at that, and Zoom then, and look what's going on in the world, and COVID-19. You start seeing all those thoughts going through your mind. And rather than saying, oh my God, this is terrible, you just notice it and you try to swipe it away with your breath. You just try to move it out of your radar. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But at the end of each session, you feel better. And I want to add one other really important thing. When you're done with your 20 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes of time, and if I were a TM teacher, I would say it has to be 20 minutes. But I'm not, so I don't have to. But at the end, you don't want to just go from having your eyes closed and being in this internal cocoon that you've created to going up and making breakfast. It's too much on your body. And then your head can move in a negative direction instead of in a positive direction, which I think is one of the real benefits of TM, is that it moves you in a positive direction. So you want to take a minute or two, hopefully 2 minutes, to get out of it and slowly move out of it. And personally, what I do is I have a couple affirmations that I say to myself every morning to try to keep my mind in a positive direction. And it could be anything you want it to be. I'm in a great mood. My day is going to unfold in the way I want, whatever you want. I mean, there's no science to that part of it. But then you slowly move out of it and go about your day, and don't even do it necessarily again until the end of the day.
Right.
So
no, that's really interesting. And I think it's important for people to see, that's one type of meditation. And we are going to put some resources here in the comments shortly, but there are lots of ways to quiet our minds, right? There's apps out there if people would prefer not to do, TM, but they want to just listen to music and close their eyes and try to allow themselves to be still. There are a lot of resources available to people now. So I'd encourage people listening and watching to think about different ways to kind of slow down. I mean, I know for myself.
Try different ones. I mean, what's good for me may not be good for you.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess newscaster is what you would call him. Dan Harris wrote the book. Now I'm plugging Dan Harris, but it's interesting. 10% happier. And the
Yes.
idea that you could, improve your level of positivity and optimism and happiness by 10%. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Right. I'll take it. I know. I think I was telling you earlier, I've been trying during this time I set a timer on my phone. And when the timer goes off, it's a few times a day. I push away from my computer. I put my phone down and I just try to sit quietly with my eyes closed. And just take some deep breaths. Now, I don't know if that's technically meditating, but it's trying to be mindful so that I'm not just running all day. And I'm trying to reduce that busy brain. I often wake up in the middle of the night and I say to my husband, I've got that busy brain going and I can't stop it. So I think taking the time out to get quiet and still can really do a lot for all of us to reduce.
Oh yeah, especially people who are busy and have busy brains. By the way, for me, I also sometimes wake up in the middle of the night with my head spinning on my to-do list, if you will.
Right.
And so I find that that's a great time to meditate. And it gets me back to sleep. And what I think a most important aspect to that is not just saying my mantra, but taking very deep breaths. And the deep breathing, it really works for me. I don't know if you have an Apple Watch. Do you?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, I have an Apple Watch and I get these reminders during the day to just breathe. And, some people might find them annoying. I find it fantastic because it reminds me that if I'm under stress, I sometimes hold my breath.
Sure.
So, that's no bueno.
Yeah, that's great. Well, so what have some of the benefits been for you personally? I think we talked in advance of this about, improvements to your sleep, but if you could share what maybe the top 3 benefits you've come to realize, it would be great to hear.
Yeah, there's the benefits that I have, and then there's other benefits that are out there. For me, sleep is the top of the food chain. I mean, my sleep has improved dramatically. I'm a person who I'm an A type, and I run a little bit on the anxious, stressed out side. So it's really leveled me out so that I do bring a calm to my life. And in fact, to the point where some people say, you're such a mellow person. I'm like, really? I didn't think that was possible for anyone to ever say that about me, but people do occasionally. Say that. So it's definitely lowered my stress, lowered my anxiety, made me feel calmer and centered. I feel in charge of my day more often than not. And that's a very good feeling that I didn't always have.
That's amazing. Wow. Those are some really good benefits.
It also, for those of you who may have to deal with high blood pressure or diabetes, supposedly it helps calm the whole nervous system and helps you keep your blood sugar levels more level and your blood pressure levels at the right place. And so that's incredible to me.
No, I agree with you. I mean, just the sleep, and we know that sleep, there are increasing studies that are looking at the benefits of sleep on the brain and on reducing or protecting, I should say, against cognitive decline. So, I mean, there's certainly probably benefits that you're feeling on a daily basis and also benefits that are happening in your brain, which are so important. Knowing that this feels like a big lift to some people, to many people, what are some of the tips that you would that you would give to our audience if they are thinking about starting either a meditation journey? I don't want to say practice or journey or habit or mindfulness. Any tips that you want to share based on what you've learned?
Well, first, I think it's really important to not judge yourself about this and not to get all, oh, I have to do this. This is something that can add joy and calm to your life. So I would encourage you to make time to do it, and maybe starting in small steps, but making it a habit, and starting in the mornings before you have breakfast, but not while you're still in bed, to just take 10-15 minutes to just focus on yourself. I mean, think about it as focusing on yourself. Find a place where you can be alone, where you can remain calm. If there's music that really works for you, because there's so much meditation music available these days, either through iTunes or whatever.
Right.
But use that music to help you go inward and spend some time going with yourself, getting to know yourself and feeling good within yourself so that you can take that energy, not to sound woo-woo, but and getting that energy out, your positive energy out there in the world, because we all know the world could certainly use some positive energy right now. And it's as goofy as it may sound, it's a small way to be part of the solution. And start by being good to yourself and to your family.
Absolutely. No, I think it's really great advice. And I love the idea of being kind to ourselves. There's no perfect way to meditate, right? I mean, you've got beautiful candles behind you,
Thank you.
but you don't have to light candles. You don't have to sit a certain way on a mat, within
No. Some people
music.
feel like you have to sit cross-legged. You need to go home. You don't. Those
Yeah,
are things that if you like to do them. They'll make you
right.
feel better. But the candles, they're for atmosphere. It makes me feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. No, those are great tips. And I just want to thank you so much for being with us. And I just want to remind our audience that we are going to be posting resources below in the comments, different links to meditation practices, articles, and resources that talk about the value of meditation in protecting our brains against cognitive decline. And so we will keep this conversation going. I also want to remind everybody that's watching, if you haven't yet signed up for the Be Brain Powerful 30-day challenge, we encourage you to do so at bebrainpowerful.org. It's a 30-day challenge where each day we give you a simple tip about how you can take care of your brain. So we're not encouraging big things, but just very simple tips each day around our pillars of brain health. Meditation and stress reduction is among them. But we also want to hear from you. So sign up for the challenge, but please be in touch with us. You can comment below and let us know if there are certain topics you want us to focus on, if you want us to dig a little deeper into nutrition or exercise, or if you want us to do another segment on meditation. We really want to be here for you, all of you who are focusing on your brain health. So stay in touch with us. Let us know what you need. And please join me in thanking Maddy for being with us today.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you for the opportunity. I hope
Thank
somebody somewhere got something out of it.
I'm sure that's true. I know I did. I'm definitely going to start tonight, and I'm not going to beat myself up. I'll do it the best that I can.
Yes, just enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
now.
Namaste.
Namaste.